you buy an iPad, you get Apple Plus for free. Is that unfair?
Yeah, doesn't that sound great? I mean, everybody's happy when somebody gives you something for free until it leads to some kind of market dominance. And obviously, Apple isn't there yet. But I found this giving it away free part is the most fascinating part of Apple's announcements this week. It's clearly following the Amazon model, which gave Amazon Prime free, quote unquote, to anyone who is an Amazon Prime member. I remember when that happened thinking, well, wait a minute, what does streaming have to do with free delivery? But all of a sudden, there it was on my screen, and I started watching it. I think it is a huge advantage, and the market hasn't really appreciated this yet, that if you can get the streaming embedded on your screen, whatever it takes, you get a huge advantage over people who are going to make you pay for it. I don't care what you pay, $2.95, $6.95, $10.95. If you have to sign up for an account and have your credit card charged, that's a barrier to entry. If it's just there, free, you're going to try it out.
Right, even if it's an introductory thing, it's not like, I don't think you get it free forever. I think it's 1 year.
It's 1 year, but I wonder, Apple could obviously tweak this. First of all, they could extend it to all Apple product users. They could make it longer than 1 year. I mean, they have a lot of flexibility. This is where they're starting. They're obviously testing this. They'd like to maximize profits. And they do have a disadvantage in that the good existing content has pretty much all been snapped up. So they're not going to be able to do reruns of, Leave It to Beaver or something. Somebody's already got that. They're creating new material. They're kind of the HBO model, which could be very successful. Now, the problem, I think, from an antitrust perspective, and this is true of Apple, it's certainly also going to be true of Amazon, if they achieve a level of dominance in streaming,
they're not going to achieve a level of dominance in streaming.
I'd say we're a long way from there, but if they do, it looks like a tying arrangement. You give something away free if you have another product. It's like Microsoft putting its browser embedded on the machine. Exactly the same problem. So if they really succeed here, which I agree at the moment is a long shot, they're going to get some scrutiny from that. But I think it's also important, again, I'm looking at those yields you just showed on AT&T, and there's a lot of market skepticism about AT&T. But I keep wondering, couldn't AT&T embrace some of this strategy? I mean, AT&T has a lot of customers. And if you suddenly start letting them sample things, or why don't you try HBO, we'll give you HBO free for a while. I mean, I think there's a lot of maneuvering room. The problem for the legacy media companies, they don't have any other products to tie the entertainment to. Even Disney. I mean, I think Disney has a powerful brand. It has the content. It'll do it. But you start moving down beyond Disney, what do they tie it to?
No, they got to make money, too, to AT&T. They need to make money also. They can't be giving HBO away for free.
No. You're right.
By the way, Hollywood Reporter has a piece up just now that J.J. Abrams turned down a ton of money from Apple to go to Warner. So it's not like they're going to have the lion's share of talent necessarily, but maybe that's not your exact point.
Look, everybody has a price. And Apple is clearly going to be feeling their way through this. And I think, look, I think the streaming wars is one of the big, fascinating long-term stories of our day, and who knows where it's all going to turn out. Everybody is kind of getting in there, feeling their way, but a lot could change. But, again, it's great right now for talent. I'm sure J.J. Abrams got a good deal with Warner, but, at some price, he'd go to Apple. So the possibilities are out there. It depends on who has the deepest pockets and how far down in those pockets they're willing to go.
It's interesting. You were really pointing out, too, what a warning sign it is that Tim Cook turned around and sold the shares of Apple that he had just gotten from the company. And what your takeaway is on that? What do you read into that?
Well, I think it's hard to know. He still has a big ownership stake. I don't know what he's doing with his money. Is he going to buy something like the Washington Post? I don't know what he's going to do with it. I don't read a whole lot into that. But I think it's true of all these tech companies right now. They're at inflection points. How can Apple grow at a double-digit rate, given how large it already is? There may be more promising opportunities to put your money, and I could see why he might want to diversify a little bit.
So when I heard they were lowering the price of the iPhone, I think, well, maybe it would make more people interested in it if you put a price point that seems more modest than what it was. Oh, look, it's a bargain. Everybody loves a bargain. Should we read into that differently, that they think that maybe the iPhone's not going to be the big winner for them that it has been?
Well, I think anytime you see price being used as a competitive weapon, it's a little bit of a warning sign. I mean, it's not the ideal strategy. You want desirability, prestige, superior quality. You want to be that's what you really want to drive the purchases. The minute you start having a price war, it's kind of conceding that, well, we can't really compete on anything else. So I don't see it as a great sign. On the other hand, it's maturing industry like this. I mean, how much more radical improvement can there be in the iPhone? And I think once you reach that inflection point, you want to see how can I maximize profits, how can I broaden market share, and obviously price cutting is maybe a last resort, but you've got to consider it.
Jim, I share your interest in the streaming wars. We've spent a lot of time on it. We'll continue to. I mean, there obviously is a key to first mover advantage. Netflix has it. Amazon is fairly ubiquitous. Disney Plus, I think many people expect will be a success given the plethora of its content. Hard to imagine, though, that many other entrants at this point really making a great deal of, getting a lot of currency in this market, given the overall bill to the consumer is starting to mount the more services you take on.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I've been wondering all along about how many of these streaming services do you want to see on your TV screen. I don't want to see 100. I can tell you that. I don't want to go back to the cable world, which was utterly confusing. Even now, I find, I'm trying to remember whether something was on Netflix or Amazon Prime, and half the time I have trouble remembering. Maybe that's just me, but
no, you're not alone in that.
I'm starting to think that it's maybe not as many as I thought. I mean, you can fill your time, with Amazon and Netflix with a pretty robust, programming. Add some sports, and you're not looking around for something to watch. So I think it has to be some pretty compelling content to get you to add it on the screen, which I think Apple is smart to make it easy, make it cheap, but I mean really make it free. So it just is there as a bonus if you buy these things.